Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is your Screenwriter's Rant on The Problem with People, starring Paul Reiser and Colm. It's an actual comedy, and it's Irish. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 15, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, the premise is Colm's dad had a brother, and they got into such a big fight. The brother went to America and never talked to him again. So now Colm's dad is dying. So his dad insists that Colm somehow solve the problem of the past and bring the family back together. So he calls his cousin in America, doesn't even know him, and it's Paul Reiser. Now, Paul Reiser doesn't strike me as very Irish at all, but okay, I can kind of just overlook it. I guess he could kind of be Irish. Let's see, who wrote this? Directed by Chris Cotham. Do we have a writer? Oh, written by Paul Reiser. Cool. And Wally Marzano Lensnevich. Yeah, it seems a straight up comedy. So they decide, or Colm calls him, and Paul Reiser goes to Ireland to meet his family, but then the uncle dies, just drops dead. And then there's a will, and it turns out he left half the estate to Paul Reiser, who he just barely met. And Colm is not happy about it, and then they get into a fight like the previous two brothers did, and then he starts building on the property to piss off Colm, and they go back and forth, and they have a bit of a war. Like Paul Reiser, Colm has him arrested, and then Paul Reiser puts a bunch of sheep in his house. So, and then here they're playing soccer and they're going at each other. So they become the new two brothers who fight. Yeah, it looks amusing. I wouldn't say it was laugh out loud funny in the trailer, but it looks fun. Paul Reiser is definitely the comedian in this one, and Paul Reiser is still funny. He he's still in that realm. He hasn't totally left it, although he's done some amount of acting. Colm, straight up actor, of course, but he's a good straight man for this, playing the Irish dude. And yeah, here they are again. So I think this could be fun. I would give it a chance. The trailer's not wowing me, but it's okay. It's all right. Seems amusing. Seems light, and I do like Irish comedies. I don't know why. They amuse me. The Irish are fun that way. They got I don't know. It's something about Irish people. They got a little bit of shenanigans in them. You know, that kind of thing. So when, like, you know, his father dies and he doesn't want to give Paul Reiser the other half of the estate, like, you could see, like, yeah, he's gonna try to steal it from him. So first act, I mean, it's pretty much what I said. First act, Colm's dad is dying, and I don't know if he knows he's dying, but he's old, and he says, you know, he tells him the story about the two brothers, says, you gotta patch things up between the families. So Colm calls Paul Reiser, and Paul Reiser agrees to come to Ireland. So he does. Second act, he meets his granduncle, I guess, or uncle, and then almost immediately he dies, leaving half the estate, splitting the estate between the two of them. So then Colm doesn't tell him at first, but then eventually Paul Reiser finds out, and this is all in the second act, and then they go back and forth. They're rivals, and now Paul Reiser doesn't want to leave because he's inherited all this real estate, I guess, and so they go back and forth arguing over the will and the real estate and trying to drive each other crazy. The climax, well, it's a comedy. If they go full bore comedy, it would end just like the brothers ended, right? One goes to America and he never talks to the Irish one again. I don't think it's going to end that way. I think they're going to have some sort of resolution, but I do think Paul Reiser will eventually leave. Although maybe not. Wouldn't it? It would be kind of funny if Colm goes to America and Paul Reiser stays. That would be interesting. But it's an interesting matchup because Colm is such a he's not really a comedic actor. I can't think of. I think he's been in one or two comedic movies, but he's normally very, he's normally the straight guy. He's not the funny guy. Paul Reiser, though, is always kind of the funny guy. Even in Alien, he was sort of a funny guy. Even when he's the bad guy. Even in Beverly Hills Cop, he's not really the comedic role. He's more of like a foil for Eddie Murphy, or more of the supporting cast. But yeah, I would totally give this a chance. So let's see, is there a write-up? I gotta read the write-up on the IMDb. Okay, so what is this called? I've already forgotten the title of it. The Problem with People. Yeah, I don't like the title that much. It is a comedy title, but it doesn't seem totally right for this movie. But two estranged cousins who have never known each other try to make amends for the many generations of family dispute. That doesn't sound right. Two estranged cousins who never knew each other tries to make amends for many generations of family dispute. It doesn't sound right. Does that sound right to you? That doesn't sound grammatically correct. I mean, it should only be one sentence. See, they're not estranged. It should be something like two cousins who never knew each other try to patch up a family feud that has been going on for generations. Something like that. Something like that. So, yeah. All right. When's this come out is a good question. Do we have a date on this? I don't think we do. No, I think it's just coming soon. The Problem with People. Looks good. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on all our various links, the green site, the orange site, and the black site. Check us out on the live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. where we do it live. Hope to see you there. We'll see you